What's going on, everyone? So one of the things that the Lakers need desperately, which pretty much all teams want and need, is size and two-way guys out on the perimeter. A guy that can defend multiple positions, a guy that can knock down the three ball. Jared Vanderbilt is one of the best on-ball, if not the best on-ball defender in the league. Problem is offensively, he's not really there, right? Now, the Lakers did do a good job of kind of using him as an off-ball screener, kind of having him as a roll man. Like, they were able to kind of make him an effective offensive weapon, but not in the traditional sense where it's like, hey, he can just catch and shoot, knock down the open shot, or create for himself or anything like that. It's kind of like you have to get him in certain actions in order to benefit from him offensively, right? So the Lakers could really use a guy that could come in and kind of solidify that three spot, right? Maybe even, at times play the four, right? The versatility, the size, right? Being able to defend 1 through 4, maybe even 5 on occasion. And somebody that absolutely comes to mind is Myles Bridges. Myles Bridges, not Mikal Bridges. I want to be clear about that, because whenever I've talked about Myles Bridges in the past, people are like, you're never going to get Mikal Bridges. Like, no, Myles Bridges from the Charlotte Hornets. So the Lakers were interested in him prior. The Charlotte Hornets were expected to give him a deal. So far, there hasn't been any word, there hasn't been any news on if they are going to give him a huge extension or give him any type of money. If they start playing with the food a little bit, Myles Bridges very well could start going and looking in other directions. So that's where I think the Lakers could really swoop in and maybe kind of take him, bring him in. Couple questions is one, what is the market for Myles Bridges and what is that payout from those teams, right? Because he is still incredibly young. So do some of these teams that have money, like, a team like the Thunder, do they throw an offer at him? Or the Spurs, do they throw an offer at him, right? Like some of these teams that, hey, we can give him $20 million a year. We can give him whatever, right? Where the Lakers, they're really limited on their spending power. It's pretty much vet minimums and the taxpayer mid-level. But if D'Lo leaves, they could get to the full mid-level. Now, I would, if we could get the full mid-level, I would, without a doubt, offer that to Myles Bridges. I know the Lakers need a center. Absolutely. They need a backup center. But I think that would be easier to navigate than your potential borderline all-star. I mean, the guy's 25-5. Right? Like, I don't think he'd be that playing alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis, but he is everything you want. Good size, good strength, good versatility, can defend all positions, right? I mean, you're not putting him on Jokic or anything like that, but certain matchups, right? You're playing the Warriors, you could throw him on Draymond, right? Like, he can shoot the three ball with efficiency, he can score and put the ball on the deck. I mean, he does everything you could want from that 3 spot. Slide over and play the 4 at times if you wanted him to. Just that versatility, I just think is very valuable. To where, like, the center position, I think the Lakers would be fine because you can go get an Andre Drummond. You could go get, maybe you could still convince a Valanciunas or something like that, right? There's options, flexibility. Maybe you're working out a trade to go get a big fella, right, to bring off the bench, right? Could you go get like a Nick Richards, right? Something like that. Like, there's options. I think that would be easier. I think just getting a solid backup center is a lot easier than going and getting a legit, sizable two-way wing, right? The other side of things is Mikal Bridges. Like, would he look at the Lakers like people, Malik Monk, right? He's the guy that comes to mind, where it's like, hey, I want this big deal. People are not very interested in giving me this big deal because his off-court issues, which have been cleaned up, right? He as far as I'm aware, has everything at least settled, right? So he now can kind of focus on basketball. I can go to LA. I can go there. I can focus. I can kind of rebrand my image. I can play a big role, right? Maybe even stick around with the Lakers. I'm in a big market, right? Lakers spotlight. That would be huge. Best case, stick around with the Lakers. Worst case, maybe this is the thing that springboards me into a bigger deal elsewhere. Another team's willing to offer me and pay me off, right? Like, so to me, it would come down to Myles Bridges and like, what does he want to do? Does he look at it, even if he gets a bigger offer, right? Like, let's say a team is willing to offer him, 18 million or something like that. Does he look at it as like, man, I really want to be a 25 plus million a year guy? All right, let me go to the Lakers. Yeah, taking 5 million less, but man, if I'm a big piece and we, make the conference final, we win a championship, and I'm, one of the big talking points, then that's gonna go get me my bag elsewhere. Where teams are a little tempted to jump into the waters that are Myles Bridges, because the Lakers, like, they're more likely than not they're going to make some type of trade, and I believe for a star. Right, I believe that they're going to land a DeJounte Murray or a Trae Young or Donovan Mitchell, which I think is very unlikely, but you never know, right? Word is he wants big market. Lakers, Knicks are the two places, so maybe. Or maybe it's like a Darius Garland, something like that. Lakers want to get like a, more likely than not, a guard, young guard that can come in, kind of be a big focal point for this team now and the future, even post LeBron James. So then let's say they get DeJounte Murray. You don't need D'Angelo Russell to go get DeJounte Murray. If you want to land a Trae, you kind of need D'Angelo Russell to do that. I mean, you could get there, but it would make things so much easier if you had D'Angelo Russell. So all of this kind of hinges on D'Lo. Because if D'Lo leaves, right, now you got your full mid-level exception. You can still go make trades, like I said, for a DeJounte Murray, and then go try to sign Myles Bridges, bring him in, and let's go win a chip, baby. Right? Like, DeJounte Murray, Austin Reeves, Myles Bridges, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis sounds pretty good to me. Got versatility, you got shooting, it sounds pretty good to me. Right? So if you could do something like that and pull that off. Problem is if D'Lo opts in, now you don't have your full mid-level exception. Now you just have the taxpayer mid-level, which is like, I think, 4.5 million. So would he be willing to accept something like that? That I don't know, right? Like, I think it comes down to what is his market, what are teams kind of willing to throw at him and offer. But, if a team is like, hey, we'll give you, 1+1 on like 10 million. Maybe he goes, again, for 5 million less, I could go to Lakers, try to really turn my career around. Or if a team offers him, say, like 15, 20 million, then I think he's like, even if it's just like a 1-year deal, right? Like somebody's like, hey, we'll give you a 1+1 on a prove it deal for 15 million, 20 million. At that point, it's like, I should probably take the bag, unless he wants to bet on himself. Look, guys bet on themselves all the time. I mean, Derrick Jones Jr. just talked about that, right? Where he was like, I could have opted in, stayed in Chicago, but I wanted to bet on myself. And now he's probably going to get paid. I don't know if he's going to get paid 15, 20 million, whatever. But I mean, Myles Bridges was on his way to being a max player. Like he was. Charlotte was going to max him out. And then he went and, made poor life decisions. And that basically resolved that. But if he can get back to that and get to the Lakers, right, he might be able to use that as the springboard. Right? We've seen players continuously do that over these past years. So does he kind of bet on himself? I just think it'd be much more easy if D'Lo were to opt out, because now you can kind of maybe look at him and throw some money at him and go, hey, like, can we make this work? Can we figure this out? Can we get some type of deal done for you? Or do they look at it as like, I want to get paid. I want to get the bag, right? Like, rather than bet on myself, right? Because I don't want to run the risk of like, okay, it doesn't work out with you now. You let me go and now I'm in trouble, right? So I don't know. It kind of depends on what direction he wants to go. But I mean, if we could find a way to land Bridges, I think you do that all day. Again, I wouldn't even hate like a sign, some type of trade, sign and trade, something like that, to where, maybe you're giving him a little more. If you can get like a Nick Richards too, right? Can you get like Richards and Bridges? To me, that would be, there you go, right? Like that's Gafford and PJ Washington, right? But I think Bridges is better overall than PJ Washington. So I think you're actually getting better versions, right? So to me, it's like, just depends on, again, what all parties want to do. But if Myles Bridges is on the table, I think you go get Myles Bridges. If you can do that, you do it, right? Because he solves everything, and you still have like Jared Vanderbilt off the bench. You can even run them together at times, right? LeBron goes to the bench. You could have Myles Bridges at the 4, Vando at the 3, like Anthony Davis at the 5. Like, good luck, especially then if you still can go get a DeJounte Murray, if he can get back to being that all defensive guy. Stop. Like that, that's just beautiful, right? Maybe even throw in a Gabe Vincent, right? Like, or not Gabe Vincent, right? So that way now you got like this lineup of 5 that can shoot and make plays because of DeJounte Murray and stuff like that. Be tough. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of Myles Bridges? Do you think like, yes, that's a guy, go get him. Whatever you got to do, go get him done. Solves our 3 guy, our forward for the foreseeable future. Also, like, he's a guy that, if you can keep him long term, you keep him long term, right? Like, can you, again, kind of sign him to like can you get him to a 2-year thing to where now you can actually sign him to a bigger deal? Maybe LeBron takes a little less to kind of get him to 20 million or something. Not this season. I'm talking about later, like down the road, right? Because chances are you're probably only going to be able to get to the mid-level. I mean, LeBron would have to basically play for the vet minimum at that point. But even then, like, the Lakers are still pretty thin on like what they could offer. But nonetheless, I'd love to go get a guy like that because he's everything we need. But again, love to hear your thoughts and opinions, however you feel, down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot so we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.